Shalom. Before we get this video, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, and all double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. They continue to rule very well to this very day. That's continually feeding the fly through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. And also Shalom to the hopeful elect. That's laboring as well in this work. That's giving you due diligence to make your calling and election sure, in faith, in truth, sincerity, and also in all charity. Now, I have not came up with a topic of this video as of yet, but this video is concerning the recent passing of a man by the name of Chadwick Boseman, who is looked at in today's society as the image of the Marvel hero Black Panther. And when the movie came out, it became such a rave that our people took that as something. And when I say our people, I'm talking about primarily so-called Negroes. They took this and they looked at this as something to not only marvel at, but also something that is looked at in high esteem. Okay, that's why you have different comments or mottos being put out like Wakanda forever and stuff like this, which we already know what this is all about. All right, because now that Chadwick has passed, that's why now he's the men of the Lord are looking at this as like, this is a message. Okay, this is a message sent to you southern tribes, you so-called Negroes, to let you know that the Lord was never with this, man. The Lord was never with this notion of Wakanda. When they say Wakanda forever, they base that back towards Africa, and because that's the only thing that 2/3 of our people latch onto is the region, which is Africa, in which our beginnings, our humble beginnings, starts before Africa. Okay, because we were placed there, or we ended up in the interiors of Africa when we fled from the Romans after the time of 70 AD. But Esau, or Edom, which is the true biblical nationality of the so-called white man, he's not going to tell you about that part in history where we fled from Israel during that time. Okay, he's only going to go back so far as to telling you that you come from Africa. Okay, but not only due to this recent occurrence with this man's death or passing, again, this is a message that the Lord is sending towards the southern tribes that, look, your beginnings or your origins do not come from Africa. All right, and the Lord is not with this. Okay, your beginnings, you so-called Negroes, and also as well you so-called Hispanics, and you are Native Americans, your beginnings go back to Israel. Okay, and the Lord is allowing this truth to stand out in the forefront. All right, and he's moving icons and different celebrities that big up that old doctrine of the deception, or should I say deception, that's being placed here in America. The Lord is moving them to the side and disquieting them, and he's allowing this truth to spring forth and bud, all right, and to flourish. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'll jump to the precepts I have here. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 4, and us being regarded as so-called Africans, and this and that and the third, that's a part of the curses, and that was what's going to happen towards our people. Okay, and then afterwards going to be a certain time where this would have happened to us. All right, the curses, all right, They were put on us for a certain amount of time, and afterwards it's going to be lifted up off of us. Okay, and now we're coming to the time where that's happening. The curses are now starting to lift up off of the Israelites. Okay, Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 4 says, and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. Okay. So it says here that we have discontinued from our heritage. Okay. And that happened. We did discontinue from our heritage. All right. That's why we are considered the lost tribes of the nation of Israel. Okay. Why would we consider the lost tribes of the nation of Israel? Because our heritage was lost. Okay. Our heritage was lost, and then we lost our first dwelling. Okay. And we didn't know what our nationality was. Okay, but now we're coming to the time to where now we understand what our nationality is. Okay, and again, he is disquieting certain individuals that says otherwise, like this guy Chadwick Boseman. Okay, I'm gonna grab another precept. This is the book of Galatians chapter 4 verse 26. All right, and this also cuts the notion of Africa being our first dwelling. Okay, because the scriptures tell you itself that our first dwelling, or where we came from, is actually the land of Israel. Okay, this is the book of Galatians chapter 4 verse 26. It says, but Jerusalem, which is above, is free. All right, Jerusalem is speaking of the land of Israel, all right, which city of Jerusalem is where the Lord's eyes are set. Okay, and it really goes deeper than this, but on the surface, yeah, this is talking about where we came from originally. All right, so again, it said, but Jerusalem, which is free, or which above is free, which is the mother of us all. Okay, you see? So Jerusalem is the mother of us all. That's the original motherland. Okay, not Africa. Okay. That land of Africa has been given over to the Hamites. Okay, which if you read in the Zondervan dictionary, it tells you that there's a distinction between the Hamites and the so-called Negroes. All right. Because the Hamites are the original Africans. All right. But you so-called Negroes, you're the original Israelites. Okay, pursuant to the curses, right? Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 4, which I just read earlier. Okay. Now we'll move on from there. All right. This is book of Deuteronomy chapter 32, and start at verse 30. It says, how should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock has sold them, and the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai has shut them up. All right. For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. Okay, so it says their rock, right? Their foundation is not like ours. Okay, which that rock represents Yahweh Shai. Okay, see now what you're seeing through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Now you're seeing His Spirit being poured out throughout all the world, and now they're starting to see us for who we really are. Okay. Now, verse 32, it says, for their vine is of the vine of Sodom, and of the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are the grapes of gall. Their clusters are bitter. All right. It's like it says here, it says their vine is the vine of Sodom and the fields of Gomorrah. So, our people, they latch on to these different vines and these different doctrines and what they subscribe to. All right. Instead of latching on to the true vine, which is who? Yahweh Bashim Shai, which is pertaining unto your heritage. Okay? Because remember, Yahushua sprang forth out of the tribe of Judah. All right, which is the same tribe which you so-called Negroes come from. Okay? But again, like I mentioned, they latch on to other vines, other clusters of the grapes, and they eat off that, man, and they're filled with that. Okay? All right, there's another scripture. Slack you. All right. Now, this scripture here is pertaining unto these different governments that have sprung forth, or these different leaders of these different nations that spring forth and try to come up and establish their kingdom, because they know that this kingdom is going down, which is kingdom is Babylon the Great. But there's a part of this verse that's pivotal. Okay, and I'm gonna read it. So this is the book of Psalms, chapter 68, verse 16. It says, "Why leap ye high hills? This is the hill which the Most High desireth to dwell in." What's that hill? It's talking about Israel. All right, the government of Israelites. All right, and that's what the Lord is setting up. He's setting up the elect of the nation of Israel to be that governing body, where it's really the 144,000 to be that governing body of the nation of Israel. So this is the hill that the Lord desired to dwell in. Okay, He's not dwelling in these other hills like being Africans and this and that of that nature. No, He's not with that. He's not even with all the nations. Okay, the only hill that the Lord desired to dwell in is Jerusalem. All right, Israel, the Israelites. Okay, reading on, says, "Yea, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshua will dwell in it forever." Okay, so with that, I'm going to end off on that note. Lord's will is edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. Till next time, once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshua Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule to this day, and also Shalom. Peace and safety and salutations to the hopefully elect that's laboring this work, giving your diligence to make your calling and election sure, in faith, in truth and sincerity, and also in all charity. And with that, I'm going to say Shalom.